Welcome, everyone, to Success Redefined. So, what does success mean to you? What does success mean? And for everybody, that's going to be something different. Maybe success is in your career. Maybe success to you means better relationships, healthy relationships. Maybe success is a financial measure for you. But for everybody, it's different. Maybe success is as simple as being peaceful in your own life, being happy, content, and peaceful in your life, unrelated to everything around you, which is a beautiful thing. So, what we're going to dive into today, regardless of what success means to you individually, we're going to dive into how to determine what's your definition of success and how to get there. How do you get there? And it starts with having an awareness of where you are now. What is it in your life now that fuels you? What are the things in your life that light you up? And what are the things that drain you? And grab a notebook, because part of this process is writing things down. Because as you write things down, number one, it brings it to light in your brain. It brings it to, it brings it to, it makes it real. And it also allows you to somewhat brain dump, where you're just kind of putting everything down on paper, putting it down, writing it down, getting it out of your mind and on paper. And for me, that's always been very helpful. So grab a notebook, grab a pen, and just write things down as we go. So start thinking about in your life, what are the things that drain you and what are the things that fuel you? It starts to help you recognize what areas of your life are bringing you forward, and what are some of the areas in your life that are holding you back. So where areas of your life, maybe where you're holding on to the old story, areas of your life where maybe you're doing things that you don't want to be doing, committing to things that you don't want to be doing, saying yes when maybe it would serve you better to say no, declining an invitation maybe that doesn't fit into your schedule. It's the people pleasing. And people pleasing is a huge problem, particularly with women. It's that area in your life where you're doing things that you don't really want to do, and you're doing it for other people. And that's okay to do for other people. That's important too. But it's the continuous need to do for other people because you feel it validates you, or you don't want to say no out of fear that person will be displeased with you. Over time, you'll get a concrete inner knowing of where you say yes and where you say no. It's healthy boundaries. So in having an awareness of where you are now, that's how you want to look at it. What are the things in your life that fuel you, lift you up, inspire you? They make you feel lit up. They're your passion. And what are the things in your life that drain you, that maybe you want to eliminate, or at least maybe you want to not go so often and not stay too long? That's what my mentor, Bob Proctor, always said about those sorts of things, because there are some things in life you have to do. Unfortunately, you have to do certain things that maybe you don't want to do. So it's finding the moderation, the happy medium. So once you have an awareness of the things that light you up, start putting on paper, what would that look like? What are all the things in your life, if you had no limitations, if financial constraints were not an issue, if current obligations were not an issue, what would you want for your life? Put it all down on paper, because as we start with goal setting, You'll want to know what really lights you up, and not worrying about the how, not worrying about what you can afford, not worrying about what you have time to do. It's about what would you want? What would you want for your life? What would you want for your relationships? What would that look like? What would your career look like? What would your family life, what would your free time look like? Maybe you don't even know because you've gotten so lost in life and work and people pleasing that you forgot what you like to do. You forgot what it means to feel content inside, or you forgot what it feels like to want to do something because you don't know anymore. Honestly, when I started on this journey, somebody did ask me that question. Well, what do you like to do? Mm, I don't know. I really had no idea. I don't know. I only thing I knew is that I loved anything to do with my son. So I loved watching him play basketball. If he was in a performance, against his will, probably if he was in a performance, but um, watching him play basketball was something I always knew I loved. So anything to do with him would light me up. So that was always concrete. But you also want to have an identity outside of that and things that you enjoy. Um, and putting these things down on paper, and allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to think big, allow yourself to go all out with what you're writing down for your goals. Think big. And remember, don't worry about the how. The how is none of your business. That's the piece we'll figure out along the way. So, once you've started to write all that down, all your goals, your big dreams for your relationships, for your life, you will feel all the reasons you can't have that start to creep in. And that's your subconscious mind. And we're going to work on that today. So when your subconscious mind starts to get a hold of these things you're writing down, all the dreams, these big, huge limitations, these big, huge goals, and oh, I'm limitless, and what your relationships are going to look like, your subconscious mind starts to stack all the reasons you can't have that. And that's normal because your subconscious mind has been programmed since the day you were born. So when we were born, we were fearless, we were limitless, we didn't have any concerns about what was going on around us. We were curious. We did not worry about what anybody thought of us. We would try new things, and things didn't work out. We tried again and again and again until we got it. And then gradually over time, your outside world starts to program the subconscious mind. So your conscious mind, which is your outside world, it's the things you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. Those concrete measures start getting taken in by your outside world, your family, social media, cultural norms, your friends as you get older. It's all the outside measures that start being fed to you. How you're supposed to talk. Oh, don't do that. You're going to offend somebody. Oh, they don't like that. Stop doing that. And it's all the other things that we heard, like children are meant to be seen and not heard. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for your money. So that kind of thing. But it's also the judgments that you're exposed to over time, particularly as you get a little bit older, and say ages 7 to 18, when you start being exposed to friends and school and social media, you start to live up to a standard. And anything below that standard or the norm is frowned upon. So then we start to conform. And that's when you start shutting down and being open to the limitless state of mind. So, as the subconscious mind starts getting all this information from the conscious mind, it can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. So it takes it all in. And now you get to whatever age you're at, 20, 30, 50, whatever the age that you're at now. And it's all this set of beliefs that have been put upon you by the outside world. So when you start doing something like this, writing down all your major dreams, goals, and all this stuff, the subconscious mind immediately fights back because it's not, that's foreign. That's not how we do things. That's not how we're programmed. But you can undo that. You can undo the programming with repetition, constant space and repetition of the concepts. You can reprogram your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. So that has somewhat been a disservice over the course of time because it accepted anything it was fed. But now, if you think about it, you can feed the subconscious mind only what you want it to know. And it can't fight back. It doesn't know the difference. So when you start feeding it all these major goals and new beliefs and your new self-image, which we'll dive into also, those concepts cannot be denied by the subconscious mind. So it takes, and it varies, but anywhere between 21 and 30 days, you can truly, truly change it. But you can, in an instant, decide with a concrete decision, I'm going to do things differently as of today. And that's it. As of today, I am doing things differently. And that's right there. That decision sends a message to your subconscious mind. Here we go. Buckle up because we're going to do things differently. And keep that promise to yourself, because that too is a message to your subconscious mind that I mean business. And when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So reprogramming the subconscious mind, it does take constant repetition. So the way we're going to do this is with your everyday behaviors, actions, the way you show up, the way you speak to yourself. Stop telling the old story. So let's think of it this way. This is how we are going to dive into this process of reprogramming the subconscious mind. Start with a vision of yourself. So this is your self-image. It's how you see yourself. It's at a certain place. You have a certain way you do things. You don't typically deviate. You don't do things any higher. You don't do things any lower. It's like a thermostat. It's set in a particular place. Maybe one day you show up a little more powerfully, but then the next day you come right back to where it was because that was scary. I can't do that all the time. So your self-image has a certain standard. It has a certain level of success. So limited self-image, limited success. So you want to work on that self-image that you have of yourself. Self-image and self-worth kind of go hand in hand. And if you will not rise to the level of your goals and dreams without some work. Without some work on your self-image, you won't rise to the level of your goals and dreams. You'll stay stuck at the level of your self-worth and your self-image. So that's where you want to focus. My self-image is here. I want it to be here because I want my standards to be here. I don't want to settle for mediocrity. So what are the ways that you can improve your self-image? First of all, get crystal clear on who do I need to be to achieve those goals that I wrote down on paper, to achieve that dream life, how would I need to show up? Really get clear on that. What are the qualities she would need to, um, what are the qualities that I would need to have to show up as that person? Because the order of events when you're thinking of goal setting is be, do, then have. It's not have, be, do. It's not have, do, be. It's be that person now, do the things that she would do, and then have the achievements, have the goals come true, have the wish fulfilled. So you have to start showing up differently. So that's why it's important to have that notebook and write down exactly who you need to be to achieve those goals. How would you walk into a room? Would you walk in small and hunched over? Doesn't it feel different? Don't I even look different just lower on the screen like that? So you want to show up head up, shoulders back. And how would you dress? That could vary, depends what your goals are. How would you speak? How would you handle an introduction of yourself or a new setting, a new circle of people? And it doesn't mean that you're the loudest person in the room. It doesn't mean that you overpower anybody, because confidence can be quite quiet. An inner confidence isn't loud. An inner confidence is just a knowing. You're okay with yourself just being there. And actually, you walk into a room and it's not, here I am. It's, hey, there you are. I was looking for you. Maybe it's being interested in someone else because you have the quiet confidence that you don't need all the attention in the room. So those are just small examples. So how would she walk? How would she talk? How would she dress? What would her routines look like? And this too is different for everybody. Maybe it would require an early morning awakening, but maybe not. Maybe your new self-image, you allow yourself to be rested and you honor whatever your body needs. It's not about conforming to something someone else said is important. It's honoring whatever your morning routine needs to be for you to feel fulfilled. One thing I will say about morning routines, though, whatever it is, it's important that you have one. Have one that you stick to that starts your day with intention. And whatever the intention is, means whatever is important to you for that day, but make it purposeful. Sometimes when you don't set intentions for the day, you don't have direction, and therefore things kind of get out of control and you don't stay focused on this self-image that you're trying to create. So a morning routine can be part of your new self-image. How would that person walk through her day? How would she interact with her family, her children, her friends? How do you show up in your relationships? So with your partner, how do you handle conflict? How do you handle disagreements? How do you share your perspective, even though it may differ from someone else's? Do you avoid that sort of discussion? So these are all the things you want to think of. And if you wrote on your paper, whether it's a goal to have a business or to have a better relationship, think about how you would need to show up to have those things, because it's very easy to point the finger at how the other person needs to show up or how the world around me needs to show up. But the one thing you have control over is how you show up in those situations. So how you show up to your relationship, because I guarantee as you rise, as you elevate, your partner comes along, they rise with you. So you want to be accountable for the way you're showing up and taking action. If you want a business or a different career path, take action on that. Take small steps if you need to. Any step is a forward movement. Because remember this, we're all energy, and energy is always in motion. So if you're not moving forward, you're probably moving backwards. So, and think about another thing that you can do to improve your self-image is to stop telling the old story. Stop revisiting all the reasons you can't have those things. Stop revisiting past events. Unless they're powerful events that build you up, stop using your memories to do a disservice to you. Stop using your old, what you might consider failures or mistakes to hold you back, and stop using those failures or mistakes. I don't really like those words, but they kind of fit the bill right now. Failures and mistakes, I like to think of them as stepping stones to greater things. But so stop thinking about your failures or your mistakes as reasons you can't have something greater. Think of them as your stepping stones to something greater. Because remember, we are most qualified to help the person that we used to be. So I'm going to say that again. We are most qualified to help the person that we used to be. So what that means to me is that when you felt small or meaningless, or you felt unworthy, it was that time in your life you got through, you came out on the other side. You're not small, you're stronger. You now have the ability to help somebody else who's feeling small, because she's in that same boat you were in last week, last year, 5, 10 years ago. Depends how long you've been holding on to the old story. So start rewriting your new story, because you can step into that new story instantly. Put it on paper. When you put things on paper, and you will hear me say this a lot, but when you put things on paper, it starts to take form. So put things on paper the way you want them to be. I am a woman who, and what are the words that follow that? I am a woman who takes action. I am a woman who feels empowered. I am a woman who is the star of my story. So you're not an extra in your life. You're not in the audience. You get one go round here. So you want to be showing up as the version of yourself that is powerful, that you're proud of, that you, when you get to the end of your life, you don't have regret. You don't feel like there's a part of you that was a bunch of untapped potential. I hope that makes sense to people, because I think we get this inner whisper that tells us we're meant for more. And we all too often ignore it and just shove it down. But if you get that little whisper that you're meant for more, you are. You're getting that intuitive nudge for a reason, because there's something inside you that someone else or the world needs. There's something more to you. There is an untapped potential. There's a greater purpose for you. And if you're getting that little nudge, it's accurate. Listen to it, and listen to it and take action. Take action on it. That little intuitive nudge is telling you something. That little intuitive nudge is letting you know that you bring something special to the table that others need. And only you know what that is. And when you think of maybe I do have a greater purpose. You start to think, who am I to do that? Well, I say, who are you not to do that? Somebody needs what you have. And when you think of some of the most amazing things that people have done, all the creative leaders in our world, or people that have created amazing inventions, or people who just did amazing things, like the Wright brothers who discovered flight. Everybody thought they were crazy. And it probably seemed like it to the outside world, but they never gave up because they knew they had something to bring to the world. So it's something that you want to listen to and take action on. And your self-image, when it's set here, will tell you you can't do it. So you need to improve your self-image, raise the thermostat. So the other things that you can do to raise that thermostat is taking note of how you speak to yourself every day. How are you speaking to yourself when you look in the mirror? How do you speak to yourself when you're walking into a room? How do you show up to your children? How do you show up in your relationship? So start really writing these things down and having reminders all over the place. Maybe it's the screensaver on your phone. Maybe it's a note. I actually have little notes all over my house, on my refrigerator, on my desk, on my bathroom mirror, on my, it's on the, like a door that I see every night before I go to bed, on a little cabinet. And those are the things you want to constantly be feeding yourself. Note the inner dialogue that's taking place, because your inner thoughts create your external reality. Your inner dialogue creates your results. Take a look at your results of everything in your life right now. That's all created by you. And that's sometimes hard to hear, but it's also empowering to hear, because you can change the inner dialogue and therefore changing your results. And the way it happens is the more you work on yourself, the more you work on your inner self, your relationship with you, your external world starts to change. You start to attract different. You start to attract different people, experiences, opportunities, and you've got to notice this. It's about noticing how things are changing. Notice when you show up to a situation upbeat and positive and, you know, ready to go, the world responds to that. But when you show up and start complaining and talking about other people and being very negative, that's the tone you set, and that's what you attract to your life. Those are the people, experiences, opportunities that come to you. They're not likely to be incredibly positive, and they're not likely to help you to grow. They're holding you at a certain level. So when you start showing up stronger, you'll attract better. When you raise your standards, you will start attracting better. The other thing that you can do when you're working on your self-image is take a look at your circle. Take a look at who you spend most of your time with. Are they growing, or are they complaining all the time? And that's okay. With our circle, we all grow and kind of ebbs and flows, but the overall gist of the circle, is it a circle that's empowering? Is it a circle that when you are in the company of these people, you feel empowered and strong, and you feel it's not a circle that holds you back or holds you with the old story? Your circle should encourage you. Your circle should build you up. And your circle should be something you want to aspire to, not a circle that validates mediocrity. When you're in a circle that validates mediocrity, maybe you want to find a different circle. And oftentimes we don't even see it until we start working on ourselves. And then there'll start to be a discomfort in your circle. You'll no longer resonate with the same circle. It'll feel like, you gradually start to deviate from the circle, and that's okay. Embrace that. That's you growing. That's you growing. And that growing or that change can be uncomfortable. Embrace the discomfort too, because as you move through that, you come out on the other side and you come out stronger and you come out different. And that's exciting. So when things feel scary or change feels scary, embrace that and move through it, because know that there's something on the other side. Do the thing that scares you, and the thing will give you power. Do the thing that scares you, and that very thing will give you power. So embrace change, embrace discomfort, move through it, and take action. And the other thing is recognizing the old story that you are revisiting. If you're doing this, recognizing the past over and over and over again. Use your memory not to recall the negatives in your life. Use your memory to recall the time you were amazing. Recall the time that you were a great friend. Recall the time that you overcame something so difficult and you made it through. Recall the time that you took action on something, even though you were afraid, but you did it anyway. Recall these times. Recall the time when you showed up for your children or your child. Recall the time your relationship was great, because that woman is inside you. She's in there. She's always been in there. Maybe she only shows up occasionally. She can show up like that all the time. Let her. So we oftentimes use the memory to keep retelling the story of when we failed, or when we made a huge mistake, or when we were embarrassed, or when we embarrassed ourselves, or we feel guilty about a time we didn't show up. It happens to all of us. We've all been there. But tell a different story, because you're going to show up now powerfully. You're going to show up differently now. So remember that that powerful version of yourself is inside you. She's in there. She's always been there. You have got to let her out. Let her be the one who starts showing up as the main character, and have fun with it, because it's fun. So rewrite the story, rewrite the ending, rewrite how the rest of your story plays out, how you want it to. Take control of it, start showing up differently. Inner dialogue, change the story, change the way you're speaking to yourself. Don't point out your flaws. Look, when you look in the mirror, mirror work is powerful. What do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? Point out all the ways you love yourself. Point out how beautiful you are. Point out your how much you love yourself. And when you do this, look in your own eyes. Look into your own soul and point out all the reasons you love yourself. All the things you love about yourself, whether it's external traits or your internal traits. You're kind, you're funny, you're a great friend, you support your friends in their endeavors, you support your family members through the good times and the bad times. That's how you want to remember yourself, because chances are, and I see this with women all the time, the women I work with don't see themselves the way everybody else does. The women that I tend to have, that I am in contact with, oftentimes don't see their greatness the way I see it in them. I see sometimes a woman who is beautiful, strong, powerful, and she often doesn't see herself that way. And I invite you to look for the greatness in yourself. Look for it because you will find it and focus on it. When you see all your beautiful qualities that likely everybody else already sees in you, focus on them. Let those qualities lead the way and really embrace them and allow them to shape your external world. Raise your standards, raise your self-worth level, and know that you are worthy of greatness. And when you think of having a greater purpose or showing up differently, listen to that. Listen to that intuitive nudge. And do not let any past events allow you to be held back. Most of the time, it's our painful events that help lead us to our purpose. So if you can't quite figure out what your purpose is, it often comes from those painful times that you made it through and came out on the other side. We are most qualified to help the person that we used to be. So often your purpose comes from the pain. That Japanese art of kintsugi, where they repair broken pottery with powder infused with gold, platinum, or silver. Therefore, the cracks in the pottery are where the value is. So they don't discard the pottery, they actually embrace the imperfections. So, what if you did that in your life? What if you embraced your imperfections? Because they are what makes you special. They are what makes you stronger. They are what got you exactly to where you are right now. We are all perfectly imperfect, perfectly imperfect. So let your imperfections be what makes you special, what makes you stronger. And you are not to be discarded because of them. You are to be celebrated. So that's what I will leave you with. We all have imperfections. Those do not disqualify you from doing great things. They actually qualify you for greatness. And continue to note your inner dialogue. Be speaking to your inner self, your subconscious mind. Speak to her in an empowering way and put all your goals on paper. Put all your goals on paper. Write out your self-image very clearly. How do I need to show up? Who do I need to be to achieve those goals or to have that wish fulfilled? And start showing up as her immediately. Have fun with it. She's inside you. She just needs to be welcomed to come out. So that's it for today. I thank you all for being here. It's been an absolute honor and a privilege to be here on a Saturday morning with everybody. It truly has. I have, this has become my passion project because of where I came from. And I am truly, truly honored to share all that I've learned over the course of time. And I invite anybody here to reach out to me at any time to schedule a call, to reach out to me on Messenger, to ask questions, express concerns, talk about anything you may be struggling with. I invite you to join my Facebook group. It's a very safe, easy place to show up. And also, I am accepting new clients on a one-on-one basis, but also into my group program. And it all starts with a decision. Mentorship is a way to be accountable, to really make a change in your life by having the support of somebody that's paving the way to help you to avoid the obstacles, help you to avoid the setbacks, and help you stay on that positive trajectory. So, and the journey is fun. It's so fun to start to implement these things into your life because it's life changing. It's a gift to yourself. It's a gift to your family. It's a gift to, it's a, mostly a gift to yourself because you can be anything you want to be. So anything is possible. We are limitless. And that's what I'll leave you with today. We are limitless. So go for gold. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful Saturday. And thank you all for being here with me.